I like this one. I like am well well. President Mohammed Bola Tinubu don come tell us say, for the people wey be say they no wan use hand work wey dey for Nigeria, wey they believe say na to dey hold another person, na from there na therefore they get their own ego. Say anything wey happen, they must pay for it. But e get problem o. I'm happy I said it with my mouth. But e get wetin be say una wey be Nigerians, una go learn. Na only person wey dey deceive una na dey like. Nigerians are so incredible. Una did too much incredible. Now we be say the other day una don dey hear and say they don't go do like this. Don't go release all those children for Kaduna. 3 days later, they must pay for it. God bless Nigeria.
They look for soft targets. They go to backyard of local schools, kidnap children and create disaffection. We must treat them equally as terrorists in order to really get rid of them. And I promise you, we're going to get rid of them.
All right, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu there, almost reoccurring his wife's statement, I believe, last week, when she called for capital punishment for terrorists. I mean, bandits have been termed terrorists for a while, so I don't think this is something new. But during that meeting, like I said earlier, the Chief Justice of Nigeria was part of that dinner. And there's this picture that is, circulating on social media where the Chief Justice is seen, giving the president a handshake there, like almost bowing to him. I mean, people are asking, if it's the Chief Justice of the U.S., can you see that type of, courtesy? But, I mean, that's the rhetoric out there. But, we're Nigerians, Dr. Abati, isn't that right? You would see, I mean, Tinubu is 72 years old, right? Isn't he? I'm asking you. I told you I was coming to you. I told you that earlier.
The president's birthday is on Friday.
Right.
And
President Tinubu is 72 years old, right?
Well, that's his.
Answer the question.
That's the birthday he's celebrating on Friday.
What do you mean by that? Answer the question, Doctor.
That's what he's
on
INEC form. That's his age. According to INEC, he will be 72. And as for the Chief Justice, just bowing slightly to him. I mean, wait a moment. I mean, that was an iftar event. The president had invited judicial officers to come and breakfast with him. So the CJN bowing to him with respect. I won't make any big deal out of it. It's not as if his lordship was in a courtroom. He was in another man's premises for iftar. So simple courtesy,
right?
And in any case, even if he did that, according to Yoruba culture, which you yourself alluded to,
this is why I asked
the CJN is younger than the president.
Oh, he is younger than the president.
He's younger.
So that was the
he's younger than
the
president. So in Yoruba culture, it doesn't mean anything. Even when people are 1 year older than you. After all, when we were in secondary school, they will tell you 365 days is not a joke. So there's nothing about that.
Right.
But the more important thing is the president saying that, bandits are terrorists.
Right.
People who instill fear, people who collect ransom, people who impose hardship on other people within the community, they deserve to be treated as terrorists.
Yes.
And there is a law to that effect, the Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act, which stipulates penalties. And the reason, I think the statement by the president is important is that we have been in the same country where terrorists were being given Ashebi under the principle that they will be rehabilitated and reintegrated into society. In fact, I think at a point, government was even saying some of the repentants, so they said, bandits and terrorists will be integrated into the Nigerian army.
So
President Tinubu is signaling that he is not going in that direction. A criminal is a criminal,
yeah.
And the law must take its course.
I
think on that score we agree with
absolutely. They are complete cowards. They are kidnapping children. I mean, you cannot be more cowardly than that. Well, the governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, who met with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Tuesday, raised the alarm on the escalating banditry in his state, urging immediate intervention from the federal government to quell the violence. Speaking to State House correspondents, the governor expressed concern over the recent surge in attacks and stressed the urgency of the situation.
If nothing is done in Zamfara, I don't think we'll be able to solve the situation in the entire northern Nigeria. As you know, most of the guys or the girls or the people that were kidnapped ended up in Zamfara State, and that is not good for us. And therefore, we're doing everything to change the narratives. And that is one of the reasons why I'm here today, and I complain to Mr. President, and I have his assurance that something drastic will be done as quickly as possible to take care of the situation.
Well, this is reassuring. We all know that Zamfara State is the hotbed for a hotspot for terrorists. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army has reportedly released more than 200 suspects who had been detained over Boko Haram terrorist activities. The military said the suspects had been cleared of links to the Boko Haram sect. The detainees were said to have been handed over to the Borno state government on Tuesday for proper reintegration into the society. The development comes in the wake of the controversy surrounding the release of 137 school children abducted in Kaduna. Obviously, you will know that this will raise a lot of eyebrows, but let me just take one tweet and then we'll discuss the story. This is from Victor, who wrote, summary, 200 plus school children were abducted. Lesson, absence of government. 200 plus school children were conditionally released. Lesson, absence of principles. 200 Boko Haram detainees were released shortly after. Lesson, absence of sovereignty and authority. Vimbai, let me come to you on this story. As you can see here, people will try to connect the two because, I mean, it just basically happened. I tried to reach out to the Borno state government, and it does appear that these 200 people were not linked to Boko Haram. They've been put, they've been screened, and they are going to be reintegrated into the society. But of course, Nigerians will raise that alarm.
Yeah, listen, it's optics, and we always talk about this.
Absolutely.
The optics, reading the room. Could the timing had been right? Listen, if they're innocent, they're innocent. We do hope that they've been through all the interrogations. What led them to being accosted in the first place? What led them to being considered suspects? Yeah. But on those children, yesterday we did have a little bit of a debate concerning whether they'd been reunited with their parents. And the reports are that the parents are now coming out and saying over 60 hours later, they still have not seen their children. So this is concerning because these children have gone through the worst type of trauma. We're parading them to score points, PR points, yet nobody is thinking about their psychological well-being. Imagine seeing all these strange faces, being surrounded by cameras, being surrounded by all these things. All you want to do is see your parents. Right. So this is important. Let's leave, PR out of this. Let's be human. Let's be human, which is my same sentiment with regards to these people. If they're innocent, the 200 people, great, then they do deserve their freedom. Yes. However, I hope that we're able to get all the information required out of them.
You're absolutely right. We did talk about that, and I did tell you that I reached out to people in the government house, and they did promise that the children had met with their parents. Well, the Kaduna state government has moved the released Kuriga school children to a facility where they will undergo psychosocial therapy and counseling before being handed over to their parents. The children were taken to the center shortly after they met with Governor Uba Sani at the government house. The arrangement, which is said to be under the supervision of the Ministry of Human Services and Social Development and the Ministry of Health, is to ensure that the rescued children are in good mental health and psychological condition before they will reunite with their families. So that's the conversation. The children are in that center with the governor, and they did say that the parents are allowed to visit the children. I mean, that's the information that I have, and that's what we're going with. Well, in the meantime...
But that's not what Daily Trust is reporting.
Well, Daily Trust has their sources, and a journalist is as good as their sources, correct? I mean, that's the information that we have. Well, in the meantime, the Bishop of Catholic Diocese of Sokoto Matthew Hassan Kuka has asked the federal government to question those who claim close ties with bandits and to be decisive in dealing with insecurity ravaging the northern region of the country. The bishop made the comments on the sidelines of the 25th anniversary of Madonna University.
It's clear that the federal government at the highest level knows what is going on. At least the intelligence community has an idea. There are key Nigerians who are saying quite openly that they know more than we think the rest of us know. And I think that it's a business of the federal government to find out those who claim to know where the bandits are, and those who are collaborating and cooperating with the bandits. I mean, it's the greatest humiliation of our nation. We cannot, the psychological impact on this on our children is unacceptable. So for me, it's something that the security agencies, in collaboration with those that they say, the people who have said quite openly, okay, that they know what is going on. And I think the federal government has the capacity to go after those people.
The outspoken bishop, he's always hit the right notes. I mean, we have seen these people that, say that they know where the bandits are, the hideouts are. It's important that he's calling for a thorough interrogation of these bandits. I know, Rufai, you want to speak, but should I take this before you speak? In the meantime, Choko Mamu, the publisher of Desert Herald, has given the federal government a 7-day ultimatum to retract allegations of terrorism financing against